Hello and welcome to the Trinity Music Podcast. On today's episode, we have the first ever S2 pupil to grace us on the podcast. I know you've been keen to come on for a while as well.
Yeah.
So we have Lewis Colvin. How you doing, Lewis?
I'm alright, how about you?
Good, yeah. Excited again as always. I really enjoy doing this. It's one of the best bits about our jobs here. So yeah, excited just to chat to you. And from what I've got in front of me, all the information on your songs, it's clear that you're a very knowledgeable guy about music and you must have a great passion for it. So before we start, how's everything going? Are you enjoying being in S2?
Yep.
Good.
It's just to get along.
Has anything changed since you've moved into S2? Like, I know you've had a new timetable, but do you just feel the same as before?
It feels a bit weird trying to get to different classes because I went from English thinking that it was RE next because we had RE on.
Done that for 7 months. And it's different. I think you'll probably notice it more when the S1s come up and then like you're not the youngest actually in the building because you still kind of are the youngest in the building now. But yeah, have you got people you know from primary school coming into the new S1 and stuff like that?
Yeah, my little brother's friends and him, obviously.
Oh, so your wee brother is the year younger than you?
Yeah.
All right. Is he into music and stuff as well?
Not as much, but...
No, not many people are as much as you.
Yeah, he's more into Fortnite.
All right, of course. So, yeah. Anyway, so before we even start this, right, this is the first thing that... So you... kind of known for a wee while because, like, just have seen you around at the music club at lunchtime and you're not actually in my class, but just seeing you around. I knew you were sort of into alternative music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But how did that come about? Like, where did you first get an interest in that for someone as young as you?
So, it was like... My brother, my dad used to listen to it all the time.
Is that a younger brother or have you got an older brother as well?
I've got an older brother.
Yeah.
And, like, he's... Basically... He just like listened to it all the time, and like I heard it one time, and I was like, "This actually sounds really good."
Yeah.
And
do you remember? Was it a specific song or a specific artist?
I don't know. It was. I don't think so, but
it just really it just hit you, and you're like, "Oh, this is for
like
me."
All the guitars and things. I'm pretty sure it was Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, aye. And then it just sort of like. Aye, this is something I want to listen to and explore. Good. And what sort of age would you have been when that happened?
Probably about 10.
As young as 10? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. And do you know anybody else similar to your age that are into music, like your sort of music, or is it just something you have to yourself?
I mean, there is one friend, he's into metal as well.
Someone in your year in the school? Oh, nice. You can name check them if you want with their first name only.
Right, Xavier.
Yeah, Xavier. So he likes this type of music as well. Is he going to be watching this?
Maybe, I don't know.
If you make him sort of watch it, aye. That's cool that you've got somebody as well that's on the same kind of wavelength as you. Brilliant. So from the age of 10, you've always been inspired by kind of more like alternative rock music and metal music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's reflected in the songs you've chosen today. So one of the songs you've chosen, I knew who Yungblud was, right? But I didn't really listen to him. I didn't think he was that good. But see, when you told me about this song, it's since starting this like podcast, everybody sort of suggested songs to listen to. This is the best discovery I've made so far. It's incredible. I really like that song, so I'm looking forward to talking about that one. And then you've got two other songs. So one of them is quite unique that we've never had before on this as well, which we'll come to later. So what one do you want to talk about first?
I think we'll go for Chop Suey, because that's one of the most well-known ones.
Good, I've got that on the back one. So this one here is by System of a Down. Yeah. So System of a Down, American like heavy metal band. They've been around since the mid-90s. They've been around for a while. Yeah. So what do you like about this song in particular? What is it that...
It was like implemented with like a kind of rap style, but it's not rap.
All right. So are the lyrics delivered in a rapping way?
Yeah.
But then it's got more of a rock like music to it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's just like, it's all bundled into one.
I see.
Yeah, it's how I really like it, and it's like...
Aye. So you sometimes call that like a cross-genre thing, like where you've got a fusion between different styles?
I'm sure it's rap metal or something.
Yeah, rap metal. Aye. So I did a wee bit of digging on System of a Down, because they're another band that I've heard of, but I don't know much about them. But they achieved a lot of commercial success. They've had 5 albums out. Loads of them have debuted at number 1, and they've had like successful career. But they haven't actually really done much recently. So they went on hiatus in 2006, came back in 2010, but they've only really released a couple of singles since then. So they're quite quiet these days.
I think they released one in like 2016 or something.
Yeah, the one came out in more recent times. But they haven't had an album out since about 2005. But they still sold like millions of records, number 1 singles in the American rock charts and stuff like that. Good. So that you just like this one because it's got a rap fused in with your guitar music. Is there anything like in the lyrics that you kind of relate to or anything like that?
It's like basically it goes from like this big heavy to like the slow, and then why are you sleeping? Wake up.
Yeah. Is it quite aggressive and sort of shouty?
It's shouty, but at the same time it's not when you get into it.
Yeah, nice like contrast. Yeah, excellent. And have you got like particular memories with this one? Like, what do you see when you play that song? Right, what comes to your mind, or when you think of that song? What's the first thing?
Well, basically, it was like I listened to it for the first time back in like probably 2020.
Yeah, so still in primary. That's peak
5.
Lockdown. That primary 5. Jeez, wow. So it's the first time you heard it, and does it just bring you back to that time in your life?
It was quite weird because it was like there was a pandemic going on, but that song got me through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was.
How did you get? So like, I know you've obviously mentioned like your dad and your brother into similar type of music to you.
Yeah.
How do you then get down the rabbit hole to end up finding that song? Is it through Spotify? Is it through just?
Well, basically, you know how Spotify gives you like a recommended playlist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that was in it along with Aerials and Toxicity, but that song in particular, that was the first one I heard of them.
Yeah.
And like I just fell in love with it.
And as soon as you heard it, did you know this is just a masterpiece that I'm going to love this song forever?
Yeah.
Ah, brilliant. What I think is so good about this is obviously because you're so young. What are you, 12, 13, 12? So see, in maybe 10 years' time, you might not listen to that song regularly now, but you'll come back to that when you're 22, and it'll like bring you back to this place that you were during the lockdown. And that's the amazing power of music, is that it just brings you back to, like, it's timeless, you know? Or even when you're like, I don't know, in your 30s or 40s, you'll still remember the time when I was in primary 5 in lockdown, discovering that song for the first time. And sometimes I always wish that, like, the same way with, like, you know, like the time when you see a movie for the first time, and you wish that you'd never seen the movie because you could experience watching it for the first time ever and not know what happens. That's sometimes that I feel like with some of my favourite songs. Is that something that you think about? Like, if you could listen to that song again without ever hearing that, how good a feeling that must be, you know?
That would be quite good, actually.
It's quite a confusing. I don't really know where I'm going with that statement, but it's that way that, like, things with, like, The Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, like, imagine how good it would be to experience that for the first time again. But now, like, you could watch it and you know what happens. It's the same
when it just came out.
Yeah, it's the same with music. Like, there's something so bittersweet about discovering a song, but then you know that the next time you listen to it, it won't be your first time of having it again. I don't know where I'm going with that tangent, but just it's something that I find interesting.
Yeah,
you know.
So within like the first, maybe I'd say like 5 minutes of listening to it, I knew all the lyrics.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you got a good ability at remembering songs and stuff like that?
I do. It's just like, do you know how like some songs can just like put stuff together and like just technically like mumble that, but like, yeah, things like that. But it's like that is spoke so clearly, you can actually like just hear it.
Yeah.
And remember everything.
Pick up every single word. Yeah. Good. Have you ever watched like a live performance of it or anything? Like on YouTube?
Yeah. This is one of the instances where the live version is probably better than...
Yeah. Often fans of bands say that, like, until you experience it live. Do they change the way they play it, or is it just with the audience and everything, it's more...
Well, they've gave a solo as well.
Oh, like, that's added in only when they do it live?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's mental.
And is it, like, on the electric guitar and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when I was going to lead me into that. So see how... I know you play the guitar and stuff like that as well, and the drums too. Does that, like, did you just get into that because you've seen music that you like involving those instruments? You're like, I'm going to try that myself too? Yeah,
it was like, basically, I'd seen the music video.
Yeah.
And it was like the big drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
And
has it got one of those ones that's got like 50 different, like, tom drums? Yeah.
Sorry, it's no It's not the one that you have to stand up to play though.
Yeah, you could do one of that in that room next door. Have you seen the state of that drum kit? It's like
I know.
There's about 50 like the bass drums like protected by a bit of cardboard. Sorry. Anyway, so you've seen like what their live stage looks like and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you think I'm going to have a bit of that? I want to learn how to do that.
It's crazy though.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how they can play it live with all these fans screaming.
Aye, there must be. It must be an incredible feeling that, like, knowing that you've sat and wrote this song somewhere, and then you're playing it live to this audience, and they're all experiencing that back.
And they all really care about you.
Exactly. The thing about that's so good for someone of your age, right, is you're young enough to, if you stick in at the guitar, there's no reason why that couldn't be you at some point, like, you know.
Yeah.
Even on a smaller scale, it doesn't need to be in a world famous rock band. It could just be playing in a covers band or something, and having people sing back the song you're playing on the stage is just the best buzz ever. And
Yeah,
nothing
that's
could ever
just-
replace it.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
It's like, do you know how Kurt Cobain, right? He just like didn't want to get famous, but he did.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know why he didn't want to, because like, I get that fame and everything is like, oh, this is a bit much.
Yeah.
But
I suppose Kurt Cobain is like seen as being, maybe he's like a hero for the people that don't have a hero. And the minute you become mainstream famous, you lose that sort of appeal. I don't know. Do you know?
I find it quite weird.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean, because like he's sitting there having one of the most successful albums of the 90s.
Yeah.
Everybody that plays the guitar wants to be like him. He's obviously like an amazing songwriter and stuff, and he's had all the success. But then, you know, I suppose I can also see the other side of it as well, though, like in that he might have just been happy being the anti-hero, the sort of like, you know, in the background. Yeah. So that's song number 1, Chop Suey by System of a Down. Yeah, great track to kick us off. And you've got 2 other ones to talk about. So what would you like to talk about next? Which one?
I think we'll save best for last, so we'll go with Mars.
All right, excellent. Now, so this is the one that I was listening to this morning when I was just kind of coming into work and getting everything sorted. This song blew my mind when I first heard it. So this is by Yungblud, right? So Youngblood's quite famous in the UK. He's sort of like a kind of pop punk kind of alternative rock artist, but he's quite mainstream as well. I didn't realise he was young. He's only 25 years old, but he's had like 3 albums out and stuff, a couple of number 1 albums. And this song really blew me away. So I'll get into the kind of details that I found in a wee second, but what is it you like about it? Like, why have you picked this one?
See, when you go into it, it's like, and it fades into the words, and then guitar plays like off of where it starts. I find that quite nice.
Just the technique there, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not too crazy either.
Yeah. It's very like, it's still a pop song really, but it's got those kind of rock themes in it, and it's still, you know, like a 3-minute long thing. Yeah. The bit that I really like about it is that there's quite a lot of backstory to this one. So I was doing some digging, and it's inspired by. So Yungblud was touring in about a few years ago before he wrote the song, and he bumped into a fan on tour, and the fan was a transgender girl.
Yeah.
And Yungblud got talking to her, and he was inspired by like to write the music about how she used like his music to overcome how she was feeling, and she was really struggling with, you know, what was going on in her life, and it's reflected in all the lyrics and all that sort of thing. So this is one of the best lyrics I've, like the first verse is incredible. I wrote it down because it was just like, I was reading it and listening to it and going, I need to take a note of that, that's amazing. Yeah. So when did you first hear this song?
Well, this one was like, do you know I was talking about my brother listening to things?
Yeah.
It was like, there was another song of Youngblood's, and then like he only knows like 20 maybe. Mm-hmm. I now know 77.
77. Has he got 77 songs out?
85.
Okay. Really? And you
Soon
could
to be
name 77 of them? That's brilliant. Has he got a new single coming out as well?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Talking about it on his Instagram.
All right, tremendous. I've seen him play at like Glastonbury and stuff, and Reading and Leeds Festival on the telly. Like, he's definitely one to kind of keep an eye on. He's very kind of popular just now. The bit that I really like is a couple of things in this song, right? So see that first verse. The first line is, "She was only 17, had the saddest pair of eyes that you've ever seen." It's quite like, wow. Then it goes, "Wore them lips in a coat, it was matching green, but she can't be herself when she's somebody else." I was like, reading that going, that's like an anthem for
Gives
people.
you
Yeah.
chills.
It does give you chills, exactly. And like it's something that really means a lot to people because it can be really hard starting from your age, getting towards my age, I suppose, where you're growing up, you're meeting new people, you're sort of essentially forming your personality, and that's what you do during high school.
Yeah.
And you have so many insecurities about, like, I don't know, it could be friendship groups or just what you think of yourself. And this song is like an anthem for anybody that's ever struggled with self-doubt and struggled with being themselves, you know? Yeah, it's just, did you like relate to stuff like that in there at all, or?
What, kind of, yeah, because like maybe not. I was 17, but like certain parts of the song, just like that sounds like me.
Yeah. And it's like as if that could be me talking and singing this.
Yeah.
I think that's the real appeal of this one. And that is another thing as well. So Yungblud has ADHD, which is like a condition that's really common amongst young people and people in this school and people in every school really.
Yep.
And when he was a pupil at school, I was just doing some digging. He got like suspended from school for like misbehaving. And when he was doing an interview about it later, he was like, I wasn't badly behaved. I was just misunderstood. Like people didn't understand that I wasn't trying to muck about. I just couldn't concentrate in a classroom, or I couldn't like. I found it hard to learn, and there's all these things that like.
It's like if you have sort of like disorders, I get that you can't like learn like, to the highest level.
Yeah.
Like other people can, because like I feel like I've got it, but I don't want to say just in case I don't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes like it'd be easy to like. Sometimes it's easy when you Google something and you can like self-diagnose as having every possible illness. But
Yeah.
I still think like even if you don't have a diagnosed mental like condition like that or any type of illness, everybody still has things that make them really hard, and like you never quite know what somebody else is going through in school. Like, and obviously from a teacher's perspective, we see 6 classes a day with 20 different people in them or 30 different people in them, and everybody else, you forget sometimes everybody's got their own unique personality, their own unique thing, and you know, sometimes when someone does misbehave, it's not because of they don't like music or they don't like you. It's just because you know, you don't know what's going on in their head. And I think that bringing back to this song, that's what really caught my attention there. And that like the words of this, I'd urge anybody to go and listen to it, just because it's like someone in your own head is saying what Yungblud's saying, you know. And it's very powerful. And then there's actually a specific line about school that he says in the first verse as well. And then, and I really like the end bit where he sings that "Is there any life on Mars?" bit, like round and round, and his voice gets more and more strained, and like that's a bit like what Kurt Cobain does, you know. Yeah. No One Smells Like Teen Spirit, where he says that the last word, I think it's called I think it says "adenial" or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just repeats it round and round and round until his voice is so strained, but at the same time, it's such a beautiful contrast between being so like nice but raw, you know.
It feels like you're getting dragged away.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like he's pulling further, like I don't know, like a sort of trapdoor effect. Yeah, but this song's incredible. What I like about him as well is we were talking about in the last System of a Down, like how's the fusion between rap in that song and rock. I was looking at some of his influences that he sort of listed, and it's everything from like Nirvana
to Eminem, and
through to Eminem, through to pop artists like Post Malone and Katy Perry, a wee bit of My Chemical Romance, which I've heard you playing the piano when you were playing that earlier, and other stuff like Avril Lavigne, who, do you know who that is? That was maybe before your time.
One that sang Girlfriend.
Yeah,
she'd done a song with him, that I'm a Mess.
That's right, aye.
Another song with Machine Gun Kelly called Boys Lie.
Yeah, brilliant. What knowledge you've got. It's almost like I feel like you're someone that's like 20 years, like, I don't know, before your time or something. Because see all these artists like Avril Lavigne, they were massive. Pop punk was enormous like in the early 2000s. And it feels like it's not mainstream. It feels like it's not as mainstream anymore. But then you do get people like Machine Gun Kelly and Yungblud that are kind of current and they're bringing it back, whereas like your bands like Green Day and Blink-182, the original people, they're still doing it as well, but not as, you know,
I couldn't
mainstream.
believe that the other day, because I found out, in the album, like the one that has Basket Case and thing on it, that was released in 1994.
Yeah,
and I was like,
ancient, absolutely ancient. And the guy, Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day, he still looks really young when you
51.
see. He's 51, but he still looks the same as he did. He's like 21, you know. He's just like ageless. They're a great band that loads of people have been talking about on this like series as well. Like they're just like as being sort of iconic. So that song that I really really like. Do you remember the first time you heard this one as well? Like Was it like a specific moment that?
So it was like actually on the radio.
Yeah, on like the mainstream radio, just like Radio 1 or something.
Yeah, I was like in 2021. I was listening to Cloud One while doing my homework for school.
You'd have been in primary school there doing I
think all these songs, except for the next one we're going to talk about, I think I heard them in primary school. So,
aye. Did you like write it down, or did you have Shazam? You know that thing where you can figure out what a song is. Aye. So did they just say like this is Yungblud of Mars, and you just thought, oh, I'm gonna remember this song? Or
yeah, it's been in my Spotify playlist for 2 years or over now.
Aye, this is like, I'm really grateful the fact you suggested this song, because this is the best song I've heard this year that I hadn't heard before. So thank you very much for that. I didn't really know what I was expecting when I typed it in this morning. Just like
I was going to have to change my song.
Yeah, honestly, it's so good. I really like it. He's also a useless fact about him. He was in Emmerdale as an actor before he became a singer.
Yeah, and also in the Lodge.
That's right. Yeah, good knowledge. Mm-hmm. Are you this good at studying for exams? Because if you've got this brain capacity, you must be a genius.
Probably not.
No, if only you could channel your obsession with alternative music.
I just study music. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you're in the right place. As long as you're pretty good at playing instruments as well. I know, like, again, you've not been in my class, but I've seen from the tracking that you're on the ball. Excellent. So you've got song number 2 is Mars, Yungblud. Song number 1 was the Chop Suey System of a Down. Now, so the last song, this is I think the first time this has ever happened. So talk us through your choice for the last song.
So basically, my uncle is the bassist for this song, and it's like his band are split into 3 different countries: England, Scotland, and France.
Right.
And they first met together in school and when they were 15.
Wow.
And they're now like 53 now.
So did they start this band in school?
Yeah.
And have they kept it going their whole life?
Well, they did break apart because of like where they were and things like that in life, and like so they got back together in 2020, I think it was, over Zoom.
When the pandemic and COVID kicked in, yeah.
Because they have released another couple of songs. Yeah,
because I was having a listen to this one just earlier again this morning, and this one came out quite recently, the song you've picked.
Yeah. That was like 2 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, aye, excellent. So, is your uncle still live in Scotland?
Yeah, he's living in like Bearsden or something.
Yeah, and his pals have all gone...
It's mental how you can be from East Kilbride and make songs like this.
What do you mean?
It's like, it feels weird because it's like my uncle.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
you know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get that as well. Like, it must be a strange feeling knowing that you're kind of related to someone that's produced music that you like. Do you genuinely like this song? You've not just picked this because...
No, it's like one of their best songs that I've heard.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't think of a better one.
Have they ever played a live show that you've gone to see? A gig or anything?
No, but they were thinking King Tut's.
Oh, aye.
Which I wouldn't be allowed into till I'm 18.
You could maybe get on the guest list, no? You know how bands do that, where they like, for friends and family? You could you could like roadie or something. Yeah, you'd be a good roadie. Yeah, I'd want you on my sort of, if I was like a successful artist, I'd want you on my sound tech team, like setting up the guitars and doing the mics and stuff.
Yeah, but he said once I'm 18, I can be supporting act.
Aye, yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's so we've got 6 years to write a few songs. Plenty of time. Aye, so the song you've picked is called Static, yeah? So, did like your uncle show this to you before it was like released or anything like that? I always wonder that, you know, like with sort of like
it was on Facebook because he released it up to the band account, and then like I heard it before anyone.
Aye. So did you hear it like before they actually officially like, they like release a song?
Like it wasn't released on Spotify at the time they'd done it.
So they just put up like an initial video.
Yeah, it was
Facebook,
like a teaser.
Oh, right.
For it.
So do you know where they see how they're all living in different places? Did they record it like from like remotely? Like did your uncle record his bass part in his house and somebody else, or did they all meet in the studio, or how did it come about?
Like they have a studio that releases their songs.
Oh, right, nice.
Like they just fix up anything.
Like a recording engineer that they go to and it's all polished.
So basically they all record their part and then they send it to each other for the next person to do over it.
Yeah.
And it's like...
So they never actually meet in person?
No.
Yeah, they still...
Well, I don't know, actually. They might, but
Yeah.
I think for France,
I
it
suppose
would be.
if you're living in all different parts of the world, it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
And does he like contribute to the songwriting as well? Your uncle, like, does he? Or does he just play the bass on it, or what?
He's like the bass line. I might need to ask him about
Yeah,
that.
we can fill in on the next podcast.
I'm pretty sure if he's in a band.
Yeah, I feel like
think it
the
works
usual
here.
scenario is that like we sort of like share like kind of jam together and come up with stuff.
Yeah.
This one's really good actually. I was listening to it earlier. Just enjoy the sort of like feel of it. You know, I can't quite place what it is. But it's good to see someone that's like an unsigned band that are still producing music of that quality, and it is recorded really well. It's very professional, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like something you'd hear on the radio. I think one of their songs been on the radio once.
You got a wee bit of play.
Yeah, I think it was like on one of the like less known radios.
I'm going to do a wee search for it just now on Spotify and see. So they are on Spotify, aye?
Yeah.
So let me see what happens when I type this in. Because I googled it this morning and it came with the YouTube one. Let's see. So if I type in a heavy broken, this won't sound very good on the podcast. Just me sitting on my phone looking and typing heavy broken machines. They're verified on Spotify.
Are they?
Aye.
So Uncle Giv.
So if you look at that there, that's the profile. So if you search for it, you get the tick beside it. That means the real deal.
A bit like Twitter.
921 monthly listeners. It's pretty good. And that song Static is get 1,683 streams. I don't know if this will get shot down for copyright if I play that. So this is the latest single.
I don't know.
So
maybe because I'm in it, I might not.
Yeah, you've got permission.
I'll just say to him.
See the song you're saying that got played on the radio? There's a song here called We Are Here, which is another one of their tracks. And it says radio edit, so I presume that's the one that get played. Yeah. And that's had over 10,000 streams, which is pretty good. So this is a wee bit of Static.
Love it.
That's his bass line, isn't it? It's distorted bass. See if I can skip it along a wee bit.
Solo.
That's brilliant. I can see that. I can see why you like that. Judge on bass with the other sort of thing that you've done.
Literally had it on repeat on my way to school this morning.
Yeah, that's the exact type of music I'd like to listen to if I was gaming. I used to play. Have you ever played Grand Theft Auto before?
Yeah,
probably
all the time.
Yeah. So like, there's I've never played it before. I was like driving about and cutting about, and that's just type of radio music I'd love to have. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the game I used to play when I was younger, but it was involved like kind of like a Tony Hawk style game, and it was involving like motocross bikes and stuff. And that was the type of music that was on the soundtrack. Yeah. I love that. Hopefully this video doesn't get shut down because you played that there.
Please don't copyright it.
Yeah. I'm going to have a way and listen to it properly. But that one came out relatively recently, and hopefully they've got some more music to come. Obviously, you can be like an inside guy. You can let us know. I imagine that would be fun live as well, like kind of sort of in the mosh pit.
Do you know what? Let me know if you want to work on a song with me.
Yeah, is it open for collaborations?
Yes.
Excellent. So, song number 3 there, Static by Heavy Broken Machines. That's a good name as well for a band. It's quite original, you know. So before we finish off, Lewis, so obviously you're very, very young, so I'm not expecting you to have been to many of these, but have you been to like live gigs before and stuff like that?
Well, I went to the Machine Gun Kelly one back in October.
Was that at the Hydro?
Yeah.
Was that your first ever gig you've seen?
Yeah, I went with my brother and my cousin.
Was that good fun?
Yeah.
Were you on the standing bit at the Hydro, or were you in the seated?
No, because I was like younger.
Yeah.
And I'm still younger, so...
Yeah.
The second one I went to was the Yungblud one in February.
Also Hydro? Yeah. Nice. Excellent. And have you got any other gigs lined up for the summer?
Don't know. Yeah, unless I'm playing them, but...
Yeah, well, that might not be... That was the next I was going to ask you. So, ambitions for the future, like music-wise, are you hoping to maybe be in a band yourself one day, or do some sort of solo work? Or?
Honestly, I've thought of the band name already, so...
What, or do you want to keep it to yourself, or do you want to share it with everybody?
We'll go Revival.
Revival? I like that. Excellent. It's a very nostalgic, you know, Revival. So maybe if you work away in a couple more years at honing your craft, would you play the guitar or the drums?
Maybe a bit of both.
at the same time.
Might do singing as well.
Aye, can you do a bit? Can you do a bit of singing as well?
Yeah.
Aye, well, we'll keep one to watch then. So I reckon a couple of years' time, if you stick at it, we should try and form a band around you. You never know, you could do a couple of gigs in the hall.
Yeah.
Because we're doing got a summer concert coming up this year. We've got other bits and bobs, a band playing for the YPI thing for S3. So there's always opportunities in here. So if you can get yourself a wee band together, and we'll help you with it.
Just need to let me know if there's anyone.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. This is your chance to promote yourself. You know.
Yeah.
Aye. And definitely by the time you're, certainly 15, 16, I reckon you could be playing, gigs locally and stuff like that. And that's how everybody starts off, you know.
I'm thinking, see the bar in Paisley?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
When I'm 18, maybe there.
What one, like the bungalow? Or?
Yeah, it's because it's kind of close to me.
Yeah.
So I live 5 minutes away from it.
Excellent. So you could walk with your guitar in the back.
Yeah, feel cool.
Hop on the bus, yeah. That's the one that they do quite a lot of open mic night stuff there as well.
Yeah.
There's also a bit called the Keg in Paisley. Do you know where that is?
Is that no next to Gilmore?
Yeah, it's down just past the town centre.
Yeah.
They do a lot of kind of up and coming nights as well. So yeah, and then see, you're talking about heavy rope machines at the King Tut's.
Yeah.
King Tut's is often the kind of pinnacle Glasgow gig for a sort of local band. Yeah. And that could be you playing there one day.
I think they're aiming for the Barrowlands as well.
Yeah. Oh well, that's when you get even better. The Barrowlands is that's probably one of the most iconic venues in the UK. Mm-hmm. Loads of famous people have played King Tut's. That's where Oasis got signed, and same with Barrowlands. That's where some of the best gigs ever have always been played. So, you're at the right age. So, I always wish this. If I was your age again, I'd love to have another go at it and just spend more time practicing. So make sure every day you graft away, start writing some songs.
It's been about 45 minutes on the guitar a day.
Excellent.
That's
good?
Is that good? Yeah.
Yeah. You ever heard this thing called the 10,000 hour rule? It's like a
heard of it on YouTube.
like a statement that people say. So if you want to become an expert at anything, you have to spend 10,000 hours on it, whether that's football or all in a musical instrument. So if you play 45 minutes a day and you add that up over 10 years, you probably get quite close, And by the time you're, like I said, 17, 18, you'll be absolutely flying. So yeah, thank you very much for your time. I've really, really enjoyed it, and I'm keen to just see how you continue to develop in this department. And I reckon by the time you're S6, you will be touring all around the local scene.
Not sure about that one, but...
Well, we'll see.
If I am, you can come with me.
Yeah, exactly. And, everybody starts from somewhere. See Yungblud, I remember his story. He got excluded from school. He probably couldn't even play the guitar in school, so you're already miles ahead of him. So, another wee thing as well. So, see if you ever get any ideas for songs, just write the lyrics down. Keep a wee, on notes on your phone or a wee pen and paper.
Sorry, I've already started writing a song.
Yeah, good. Keep them jotting down. Observe everything you see around this school, because there's so many characters in this school that I think you'd be an amazing. I could base a whole song around you. Mm-hmm.
Inspiration.
A wee bit of spying work type thing. Anyway, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for your time, Lewis. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay.
No problem.
And make sure you keep watching for a couple more episodes before we finish for the summer holidays. Yep. Cheers. Goodbye.
Goodbye.